Ethiopia was an amazing week. Just all the great things we were able to see, the people we were able to just interact with and share the gospel with. So different than sharing the gospel here in America. And it was just great. One of my favorite times was we were going and there were two guys out plowing their fields, and the two of the people that were with us went over and took over for those guys so those guys could come and hear the gospel. And we shared with them and they both received Christ, and it was just neat to see these guys who didn't just say, hey, come over here, but went and just physically took over their job for them, just freeing them up to come over and just to hear the gospel. It was just a great, an amazing time just to see that.
Thank you so much for praying for us, for all your encouragement and support. The people in Ethiopia were so just ready to hear the gospel, so ready to hear the good news. And one of my favorite days was, well, the first day we had over 60 people make decisions in this one village. And the second day we went back to that same village and had a chance just to pray with who would be the church leaders. And one of their biggest prayer requests is that they would be filled with the Holy Spirit. And so it was just amazing to get to pray with them, encourage them, and someone donated land for a church, and going to that land and dedicating that to God, and it was just a very cool thing, a great blessing. So thankful to get to be part of it.
So again, thanks for just your prayers and support. It was an awesome time. Next year we need 10 people to go, so maybe it's you right there in the third row.
One of the things that stood out to me on my trip to Ethiopia were it was just how the Holy Spirit was with me at different times during the trip. When we worship here on Sunday mornings, there's times when I really feel the Holy Spirit welt up inside me, and I just start crying, and it's because I'm so thankful about everything that God has brought me through. So I got to experience that over there in a song, in an African song that I didn't even know all the words to. It was called Galatome, and that means thank you. And so one day when we were singing that song before we were going out, tears welled up inside me, and so I knew that it was the Holy Spirit over there 12,000 miles away, just like the Holy Spirit is here. So that was really neat, and I'm just so thankful that I got to go on the trip. I would encourage anyone who is thinking about going to go, just go and trust God. I found a new strength trusting God in this trip, and even if you're not thinking about going, you should, because God tells us to go in His Word.
A lot of things stood out about this trip to Ethiopia, but I just remember this one young woman, really, probably in her late teens, and we were at this quarry, and we were sharing the gospel with a group of pretty rough-looking guys, and the first time that we were there, some Muslims came up and they were challenging us, and they were just really being disruptive, and I didn't realize it, but she was in the background, and so when I shared the gospel, apparently it impacted her, and I didn't realize it. And so the next day we went back and we were at that quarry again, and I saw her again, but this time she was sitting down on the ground next to one young man. And when I shared the gospel this time, and Ahmed, my disciple maker, gave the invitation, she grabbed this other guy by the hand and pulled him up off the ground and brought him over. And just the fact that, she had met the Lord the day before, and she was already bringing other people to know the Lord. She was already encouraging other people to accept Christ. That just to me was just marvelous and wonderful, and just kind of one of the things that just stood out to me on this trip. And I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks, JCC, for sending me to Ethiopia.
Our team had an amazing time in Ethiopia. It was so encouraging to just see the Holy Spirit move in such a powerful way. One example of this was on the very last day, a group of us were just so tired and done, and we thought we were done for the day and gonna head back to the hotel, yet we had one more stop, and it was just incredible. We started sharing with this family, and they had told us that one of their sons had given their life to Christ a long time ago, and because of that decision, they kicked him out of the home, and he was living in a tree for some time in the city, just had nothing. And it was amazing. We shared the gospel and the story of the sower and the seed, and they accepted Christ. It was just this huge celebration, and we were so excited. But then later, we found out that earlier in the day, one of the brothers was tending his field, and he was supposed to go to the market, yet he, for some reason, stayed home, and he took a nap on his bed, and he had this dream that Satan was binding him to his bed, and that he just couldn't get free, yet this vision of someone in white came and released him. And literally seconds later, that's when our van arrived at their village and shared the gospel with him. So it was just amazing to see God work in such a huge way in Ethiopia. This trip was truly amazing, and honestly, the more people that go, the more times the gospel is going to be shared, and the more people are going to come to Christ. So I just want to encourage you to do something. We've been given a great gift with being able to know the gospel. Let's share it with more people.